and went into this room, and suddenly he saw something that caught his attention. It was a picture hung on the wall, and Trevor fixed his gaze on this picture, and he was like frozen looking at this picture. Welcome to another episode of You Be the Judge. Trevor is a 7-year boy from Ohio. He came back home feeling very weird. When he got home, it turned out he was sick. When his mom checked his temperature, it was high. Things turned out really bad really quick, and his younger brother went up to check on him while he was sleeping. It turned out that he was very unresponsive. Immediately, the mom contacted the emergency department, who rushed in and took him to the hospital. It was a very long, excruciating wait. Finally, the doctors broke the news to the parents. The doctor made it very clear that Trevor has already had a chicken pox, which developed into a complication. He said he had Rowse syndrome, and it has to do with like a buildup of pressure in the brain, not only the brain, even some important organs in the body. So right now he's unconscious, and he also said that he most probably won't survive it. Even if he does, he is not gonna live a normal life. So the parents cried and hoped for the best. Someone came visiting, and that was Trevor's uncle. He came with a very rare gift. It was a relic. It's like a medal of John Newman. John Newman is a bishop in the United States. And before he died many years ago, he was very religious. He was very spiritual as well. After his death, people recorded a lot of miracles that is kind of connected to John Newman. So this man had one of those relics, and he said that one day he had a trip in Italy, and he was in this very, very bad car crash. It was so bad that no one believed that he was going to make it. But somehow he came out of that car without even a scratch in his body. And the only thing that got to his mind about his success was the medal that he has in his pocket. Weird. Trevor's mom at this point reluctantly picked up this medal. She used a pin and put it very close to Trevor's bed on the pillow. The family started praying more. This time they decided to cling on anything that they can to help their son. It even felt like it was getting worse. Now, 3 things happened that was very weird, but others will make sense to you at the end of this video, so stay tight. And please, if you like this content, please do well to hit the subscription button, the notification bell, and like our page. You'll be getting this more often. Now back to the story. One day the mom came in and realized something very strange. The medal that she previously placed on the pillow, she realized that the medal was placed face down. And there is no way you can do this. Only if you bring out the pin, bring the medal, and face it downwards. She asked around and no one seemed to know, and she put it back on. Now, this happened 3 times, and she felt like she was losing her mind. No one owned up, not the doctors, not the CNA, or even the nurses. While she was walking out of the room one day, she noticed the picture just by the door. She came closer to this picture. It was a picture of John Newman. So he also asked around, asked her husband, and the husband said he never placed the picture there, and no one owned up to have placed that picture. She left it the way it is. She didn't touch it. That was weird. One day the mom walked in quietly to check on her child, and she noticed 2 nurses like on the end of the room having a discussion. But the nurses didn't know that the mom was there. And they were having a conversation. They say that the little boy is definitely gonna die. That was very devastating. The mom quietly walked out and went into the waiting room. She cried. But then the next day, the nurses were working on this Trevor. The boy started moving his fingers, and the mom was surprised. And then they called the doctors for more assessments, and before they could know what was happening, this boy opened his eyes, and at the end of the day, he was off life support. It happened so quick that everybody was surprised. After a couple of weeks, the family, who at this point felt a little bit of connection with John Newman, although not very clear, they decided to embark on this very expensive trip, which is going to Philadelphia to the shrine of John Newman. Now, John Newman was the Bishop of Philadelphia before he died in 1860, after which they kept his remains in St. Peter's in Philadelphia. The Reverend Father who was in charge decided to take the family around to show them things about John Newman. Little did they know that this young boy had a strange visitor that no one knew about. While they were walking around, the little boy strayed away and went into this room, and suddenly he saw something that caught his attention. It was a picture hung on the wall, and Trevor fixed his gaze on this picture, and he was like frozen looking at this picture. While his mom and dad was looking for him, and they walked in and they saw him looking at this picture. The mom asked him, "What's going on? Why are you looking at this picture so curiously?" The young boy said that picture is the picture of his friend when he was in the hospital. That was when the little boy started narrating a story no one knew about. He said that when he was in the hospital, it felt like a dream. He said he had those little kids bringing like Christmas gift wrapped up, and then there is this one kid that stood out. That this kid would be like a friend that he has in real life. Like, he was very, very caring. He stood out from other friends that he had in that hospital. Now, all these things were happening. The mom and dad were in the hospital, but no one saw any kid coming into the hospital. That was when the dad remembered that there was a day that he was in the hospital. While in a waiting room, he saw a boy who walked in from behind. He scanned the room and he turned around and looked at this boy, and this boy didn't say anything. He was expecting this boy to walk in with other adults, but this boy didn't walk in with no adults, and he looked at Trevor's dad and smiled and walked back to where he came from. So the dad felt like it was weird. And then that same day that happened, the dad also remembered the doctor saying that they saw a young boy who walked through the ICU and went straight to Trevor's room while the doctors were in the room. The doctors saw this boy and they asked him, "What are you doing here?" And the boy said he just came to see Trevor. And what the boy did was strange. The boy didn't say anything, but he walked back, went back from where he came from, and before the doctors could come out to see this boy, he's gone. So back to the shrine at Philadelphia. So when Trevor pointed out the picture on the wall, the Reverend Father made it very clear that the picture is the picture of young John Newman. Scary. That was when the dad remembered the little boy he saw in the waiting room. He never talked about it. And that was when they also remembered when the doctors said about something about a little boy who walked into the ICU. It now started making sense to them. But more mind-blowing is the picture the young boy saw and confirmed that he saw when he was in the hospital. It's a spiritual wall. Does all this has a connection to his healing? Was it the prayers of the parents? Do dead people walk around in the form of their little self looking for people to help? Now, I am not here to make a conclusion, because you be the judge.